Hello, seventh graders. Today, what you're working on for science, I know this is not going to be a super exciting activity, but I'm hoping that we get to do some more hands-on stuff next week. I'm working on making a better week than we had this week. So I just have a review assignment here. This essentially is a review assignment from the textbook. I just put it into a worksheet form so you can write on it instead of needing to just answer the questions on a blank Notability note. Okay, so for this review assignment, you're going to be using lesson 1 of chapter 2, which is pages 42 to 47 in the textbook. It looks somewhat similar to this, only it's got that picture of an iguana. I mentioned earlier in the week that the textbook made some edits and they changed a couple of the pictures. So this is what you're going to be using if you need help finding answers. You can also use your lesson outline from earlier in the week. You can also use your foldable from yesterday. Any of those can be used to help you out with this review assignment. It's just 8 questions, and some of them I did give you a lot of space, but you don't necessarily need to use all of those lines. So the first 3 deal with vocabulary. So if you're looking at the first one, it says the blank blank states that the cell is the basic unit of all living things. To find the answer for that one, I would recommend that you go back to the beginning of the lesson and look at the second page where it's talking about the cell theory. Okay, so you're going to be looking at page 44, I think it is, in the science book. Might be a definition. The second question says distinguish between a carbohydrate and a lipid. So distinguish means to tell how they are different. So in this question, I want you to just tell me how a carbohydrate and a lipid are different. To find that answer, you are going to need to look at page 46 and 47, which talks about the different macromolecules. And 2 of them are carbohydrates and lipids, which are both found here on page 47. So you can look at those 2 paragraphs to help you find differences between those 2 macromolecules. Question 3 says, use the term nucleic acid in a sentence. And so you need to go find that term, nucleic acid, either in your lesson outline or in the textbook. It can be found on page 46. Right here, we've got 2 paragraphs that talk about nucleic acids. And so try to form your own sentence about nucleic acids. Okay, maybe look at the definition, maybe look at the topic sentence of the second paragraph. Look at those for some ideas so you can make a statement about nucleic acids. You could also look up here at this chart that shows you the functions, picture that shows you the functions of the different macromolecules. Then questions 4 through 8 are looking at the key concepts of this lesson. Our book breaks down any of the lessons into some key concepts, and that's going to be these 2 questions from the first page. So the key concepts that we were focusing on in this lesson were, how did scientists' understanding of cells develop? So like, how did it get better? And what are the basic substances that make up a cell? So these questions will all have to do with those 2 big ideas. So the first one says, which macromolecule is made from amino acids? And it's a multiple choice question, so you just need to circle or highlight which one you think is the right answer. The macromolecules are shown on page 46 and 47. So these 2 pages are where you're going to find that answer. So maybe start by skimming the definitions. The definitions, remember, are in italics right after the highlighted words. Number 5, describe how the invention of the microscope helped scientists understand cells. So how did microscopes help scientists learn about cells? If you look back at, I believe it is either the first page right here, it's talking about microscopes, And if you look at the first part of the next page, so 44, it talks about newer microscopes and what it allowed scientists to do. So look at page 43 and 44 to help you with that microscope question. Number 6 says compare the functions of DNA, which is a nucleic acid, and proteins in a cell. So again, those are two types of macromolecules. And so you're going to go back to page 46 and 47 again and look at the definitions of these two terms. Nucleic acids are here. Proteins, I believe is the other one, is up on page 47. So take a look at those and compare them. You know, comparing can be how they're the same, how they're different. Number 7 says summarize. It's a summarizing question. What are the 3 parts of the cell theory? If you look at page 44, the topic at the top of the page is the cell theory. So you're going to look at this page. You also have this table at the bottom of the page that lists the 3 parts of the cell theory. So you're just going to be using that chart behind my head and writing that down for your answer. Then number 8 is the last question. How does the structure of the water molecules shown below help it interact with other water molecules? If you look at, I believe it is page 45, right here, it talks about water and its important role in cells. And so right here, it says examine figure 2 to see how the positive and negative ends of water molecules dissolve salt crystals. So also take a look at this caption right here next to the picture. Take a look at this figure. It's always helpful to look at the pictures. But in these 2 paragraphs, they also answer that question for you. Okay, so please take a look at those to help you out with that last water question. And that's the review assignment. I pulled that right from the science book. I copied these 8 questions at the end of the first lesson. So that's what we're working on today. I know it's not super duper exciting, but next week we're going to do some building and some eating in science class. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope it'll be good. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Take care.